2024 Patuxent Half Marathon and 10K. This one is on February 4th, 2024. And yes, that does sound weird to say. 2024. This is located in Columbia, Maryland, starting at 9 a.m. Registration is closed because it is sold out. There is no wait list for this race. So if you're not in it, you're not in it. Scrolling down here, this is off of their, if you scroll up to the top, you can see races, and then you click down below for more information. This is what pops up here. So it talks about the race. This is a 13.1 mile loop. You do that, or 6.5 mile loops 2 times to get that 13 miles. This is located on trails, so this is largely a trail race with some roads mixed in. The race location is listed right here in Columbia, Maryland. You have to be 14 years old, and race info. This is that link that I talked about earlier. So scrolling down here, we have travel and parking. Arriving at the race, they encourage you to use this GPS address to get to the race on race day. So that's 9175 Guilford Road. That's because parking is a bit limited there. Racers must race in their assigned waves, and they will be leaving 3 minutes apart. The official wave start list is going to be listed about 1 week ahead of time, so keep an eye out for that on your email about 1 week before. So this race typically sells out quickly, so you can't give your bib away to someone else, unfortunately. So that is what it is. Packet pickup, there are 2 options for you to do that. The first one is on the 3rd of February, and the second one is on the 4th of February. If you are unable to attend packet pickup, someone may pick up your packet on your behalf. They must have a copy of your photo ID and permission note signed by you. Easiest way to accomplish this is to have the participant send a photo of their ID and a photo of the handwritten note to your phone, and that person will present it to the staff at packet pickup. So the run course over here, the run course talks about some of the ins and the outs of it. 3 miles of the course is packed gravel trail, and 3 miles is on a natural surface trail. And so again, that very small portion of this course is on a paved sidewalk or surface. So the following are prohibited from the course, which are pets, baby strollers, and joggers, inline skates, bicycles, and any other non-official wheeled vehicle. So the 10K course, again, you will complete that 2 times to get the half marathon course. There is a time restriction. You have to start the second loop within 2 hours of your race start in order to proceed on to that second loop. If you are unable to get to there at that time, you will be pulled from the course. Race category changes. The deadline to make this happen is February 1st. So that is coming up in a couple of weeks. Email racedirector@ripitevents.com. You can elect to switch from the half marathon to the 10K or vice versa at packet pickup, but you are not allowed to switch in race. Half marathon runners, if during the race you decide not to compete in both loops of the half, you will be removed from the race results and marked as a disqualification. 10K runners are not eligible to bump up to the half marathon during the race as well, so they've locked down that loophole pretty well. Let's get into some nitty-gritties here. Water stations, there are going to be 2 out there. The first is going to be at mile 1.5, and the second one's going to be at mile 6, and you're going to be passing each of these 2 times, so that's a total of 4 aid stations per loop. So there's no real excuse to not get water out there. If you are going to be fueling with something additional, I haven't seen anything on their website that claims they have Gatorade or anything else like gels on the race course. So if you do want to fuel with some other things, I highly recommend that you bring them, because I don't know if they are going to be provided for racing. Timing and withdrawal during the race. If you do decide to withdraw from the race, make sure you turn in your timing chip. Awards, top 3 typical categories, and then age group are top 3. Once you get out of a teenager, then it goes to 10-year bans after that. They do offer participant t-shirts and finisher medals. There is going to be a porta potty station at mile 1.5 with that 1.5 mile aid station. So that is going to be accessible multiple times during the race. So know that you shouldn't have to go for an excessive amount of time at any point in the race if you do have to hit the bathroom there. So last major point here is this inclement weather. In the case of inclement weather, all participants are going to be notified of the changes of the race by email. I'm assuming that if it's going to be raining in the couple of days leading up to the race. They're probably going to make it on that, maybe turn that the first part of that section that's really a tamped gravel area. They might just make that a 4-loop course in order to get the miles, but I'll leave that up to them, and we'll talk about any changes that happen leading up to the race. Scrolling down here, I jumped over a little bit the venue course map. This is the map over here. A little hard to see, but this is Guilford Road over here, and this is our service road right here. This is the entrance to that venue over here. And so this is our start-finish line right through here. You will proceed to go this way and then back onto that trail over here, and this is the star point right here. So when we do return half marathon runners, we are going to hit this star and go right back around. Okay, this is the bridge as well. So once you look at this for a couple seconds, it starts to become a little clearer. So just wanted to do that for you. Okay. Next up is our official race course map. This is this was created by Tim CB, so shout out to that person, whoever you are. Again, you can see that 90% of this course is on that unpaved road here, and only 10% is on that paved road, and this on this road section right through here. That sidewalky and road surface area right through there. So starting off over here, we have a bit of an incline, and then for that first major section out on course, we have about 1.25 miles right here of steady downhill gradient. We're going to start to get our feet wet, and during this section, this is going to be the point in time where we are going to be surrounded by a lot of people. This is that wave start, so we are going to be three minutes apart from our waves. So things are going to slowly start to spread out as you go through here. And then once we get to this paved section here, this is going to be our first real opportunity for you to kind of overdo your race through here. But before we talk about that, let's back up for just 1 second when we are in this first mile 1.3 section. So during this area, you should be getting your feet wet, so to speak. You should be starting to lean into the effort. If you find that you are going excessively hard from the jump, then you know things are not going to go well for you, especially for this half marathon. It's okay to go hard, but you have to go hard in control during this section here, because the first point at which we have to save some is this next key section of our course, probably the first key section right through here, up to mile 1.6, top of the rock on that paved section. When we get, or as we slowly start to get up to this point in time here, right, the effort should be increasing. And if you get to the bottom here and you're feeling totally gassed from this effort beforehand, you need to use this as kind of a recovery area, believe it or not. All right, you don't want to totally overdo this, but again, if you've done everything right in this first section, in this long downhill section, right, and you're just kind of cruising a little bit faster than what you would normally do, it's kind of not quite race pace, but not quite your endurance pace, kind of somewhere in between there, you know, you'll be able to have a higher effort level up through this point here without major ramifications later on. If your effort level has been, say, up in this point right through here, right up at threshold for this whole first mile, 0.3, and then you try to get up here, you're not going to be able to do that, and you are going to be limited in this section here. Section number 3, out on this race course, we experience the first iteration of our major ups and downs through here. We're going to have a lot of twists and turns starting to get introduced to the course. If I hover over this point in time, then we start to get into the meat and potatoes of the course right through here. Right, and this is going to be where we need to start establishing ourselves as a racer in this race over here. If we've let a couple people go, it's time to start slowly clawing them back, and this is going to be a faster section-ish. You know, as a whole, right, net downhill, we do have some sharp uphills mixed in here, and this is going to be the first real battleground of the race right through here. All right, athletes are going to totally sky their efforts, and let's zoom in here so we can get a real representation of it. Athletes are going to really push the pace on some of these uphill sections right through here, here, and even right through here, believe it or not, right? But what everyone should be looking at is this section back over here, which we'll talk about in a second. So this is going to be kind of that false gold area where a lot of people are going to try to get a ton of time back, and that's not going to be where you're going to do it. Instead, the first real opportunity for you to get a ton of time back is in this section right through here, and arguably that would carry over all the way for this section right through there. And if you really blow it out, if you really are doing what you're supposed to be doing, right through here. A ton of time can get clawed back right through here with some of the icing on the cake back through there. And if we get out of our highlight feature, you can see here that this is a big chunk of the course. This is going to be where we have a lot of turns where you're not able to see really far ahead of you. You're not going to be able to see what's going on around you. It's going to be primarily based off of your effort level for the most part. There's going to be a couple sections here where, yeah, you are going to have a good eye line of sight on a lot of people out there, but there's going to be a couple of turns. There's going to be a couple of areas where you're not sure who's in front of you or who's gaining or losing time on you. So as you approach this section over here, this first hill right here, maintain that effort. Maintain your effort. Once you get about 3/4 of the way up, when it starts to kind of pitch out a little bit after that 10% right there, this is going to be kind of our go area right through here where we slowly start to pick up the pace because everyone's going to be recovering from this really, really sharp uphill, right? And you're going to be just getting up that hill, not major issues there. And as you start to be able to run again, as the terrain slowly starts to fade away, then you are going to pick up that pace because you are recovered here. This downhill section, just get down it as best as possible. And then this flat section right through here on the back side of our course, this is kind of race pace for here, right? And again, if you are just below that race pace is typical, you'll be able to get up this hill no problem right through here. And again, you are seeing some very, very steep inclines right through here. And it is not going to be a straight shot. It's going to be a bit of an undulation, right? So we have a bit of a ramp up right through there, 8.5%. And then it evens out at 7, 6, 5, and before it ramps back up again through this point in time. Okay? After we get to the top of here, you're going to go again. You're going to go again, and you're going to use this downhill as a bit of a recovery right through here. Last area leading all the way back up to our finish area or our turnaround, if you are doing the half marathon. So this area is going to be our last big key to the race. This is let's call it a false uphill, right? During this section of our 360 feet, we only have 40 feet of elevation gain, but the problem is that 40 feet is coming at the end of this loop, right? So what we need to do is we need to steadily just turn the screws on our effort. Just slowly start ramping it up and slowly start reeling people in. Half marathon runners, you should get to this point in the race because remember, this is only one loop. You're going to do this again. You should get to this point in time feeling like you have done a loop, but that you can do at least one more, right? If you get to this point and say, I don't know if I can make that other loop, you've gone too hard. If you get to this point in time, you're like, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I can start to claw back some people on this second loop, and I could hold that pace for a loop and a half. Perfect, right? Because then you're going to start to unleash the beast here on this second loop right here. And this first section that we talked about earlier, right through here, this, instead of being a maintenance area, it slowly starts to become a actual race-paced effort, or actual effort. That didn't make sense. This area starts to become what it feels like to run a half marathon right there with the effort level in there. That's a better word. And then once you hit this first uphill again, you're going to use this as a springboard, but again, it's going to be in control. It's not going to be the way you want to just totally just demolish the effort level out through here. You're going to have to pace yourself a little bit, but you are going to be able to run this a little bit more than that first loop. Undulating section all the way back down here. You're going to billy goat it all the way down to that major area where we started to talk about beforehand, right? And again, this is going to be kind of our recovery area, so to speak. And I say that in quotations. You're not going to want to totally overdo the recovery, but you're going to slowly get yourself ready to go for the rest of the race, because after you get to this point in time, this is about mile 9 on our race course, and we are going to be rocking and rolling pretty much for the remainder of the race after this. First springboard right through here, effort level increases right through here, maintaining your pace and just getting down that hill, because when you get to this section right through here, go time again. And again, this hill right through here, instead of just getting up it, springboard, you're flying up this hill in control and at a pace that will allow you to really put the effort level down through here. And this last section, downhill section, again, it's going to be a little bit easier. All right, keep your feet underneath you. And then this last section leading up to the finish line, it is all systems go, no hold back, because the finish line is just up ahead. I wish everyone the best of luck this year. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And good luck at this 2024 addition to the race.